Have you ever felt that something invisible is trying to communicate with you? As if, in the silence between one thought and another, the universe whispers truths that your mind is not yet able to comprehend. If at any point you have noticed a nameless restlessness or a calling that echoes deep within your soul, this video is for you. Believe me, what you are feeling is not an illusion. It is the harbinger of something grand, your spiritual awakening. Amid daily routines and endless distractions, few are able to hear the subtle voice of the universe. However, those who manage to silence the external noise and turn inward are able to pick up on powerful signs, sent to guide them toward the soul mission they chose even before they were born. These signs do not appear with loud bangs or obvious announcements. They hide in the details, in the lightness of an encounter, in the repetition of a number, or even in the inexplicable feeling of being guided. It is common to ignore these callings at first. The ego, so accustomed to control and cold logic, tries to rationalize everything. But there comes a moment when the heart whispers louder, and the feeling that something greater is guiding our steps becomes impossible to ignore. This is the moment when the true seeker begins their journey of expanding consciousness, breaking free from old patterns and recognizing that they were never alone. In this video, we will dive deep into the 7 subtle signs that the universe uses to touch your soul before the Great Awakening. Each sign is an invitation to emerge from the slumber and remember who you truly are. By recognizing them, you will open inner doors that have long been locked, beginning a journey that will transform the way you live, feel, and exist. Prepare yourself for an intimate journey where the visible and the invisible will meet. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and open your heart. Perhaps, as you listen to these words, you will realize that the universe has already begun to reveal itself to you in ways you never imagined. First sign, feeling of disconnection. The first sign the universe sends before your spiritual awakening is a feeling of disconnection from everything that once made sense. Suddenly, activities, relationships, and ambitions that used to bring joy become empty, purposeless. It is as if your soul is trying to free you from illusions that no longer serve your growth. This uncomfortable feeling is, in fact, a silent call for you to seek something beyond the surface, something that resonates with the deepest truth of your being. Second sign, insatiable thirst for answers. Next comes an insatiable thirst for answers. Spiritual books begin to draw your attention. Deep conversations seem far more meaningful than superficial interactions, and an inner search is ignited without warning. It is as if a forgotten part of you has awakened and can no longer be ignored. This desire to understand who you are, where you came from, and where you are going is one of the most beautiful gifts that precede the true awakening of consciousness. Third sign, intensified synchronicity. The third sign appears through synchronicity, seemingly random events that somehow feel orchestrated to catch your attention. Seeing repeated numbers like 1111, meeting someone precisely when you needed to, hearing a phrase that answers a deep question. Everything begins to align so precisely that it would be impossible to call it coincidence. When the universe starts speaking in this way, it means your moment of transformation is very near. Fourth sign, reconnection with nature. Soon after, you may feel an irresistible need to reconnect with nature. Places like forests, oceans, mountains, or even a simple garden start to carry a different, almost magnetic energy. It is your soul trying to remember its origin, seeking in the earth's vibration the necessary frequency to sustain the expansion that is approaching. Being in contact with nature during this period is not just comforting, it is essential to anchor the new energy you are beginning to receive. Fifth sign, restless nights and vivid dreams. Then come restless nights and vivid dreams. As your spirit prepares to awaken, your unconscious begins to release old memories, fears, and forgotten desires. These dreams are portals to your true self, symbolic messages that, if interpreted with an open heart, can guide your next step with striking precision. The universe whispers to you while you sleep, drawing within you the path toward reunion with your essence. Sixth sign, intense feeling of not belonging. Suddenly, what once made sense feels empty. You find yourself in conversations, places, and routines that once brought comfort, but now only highlight a deep sense of displacement. It is not loneliness. It is your soul crying out for a home that is not found in the external world, but within yourself. This feeling of not belonging is, in truth, a disguised blessing. It pushes you to seek, to question, to break through the limits of the known, paving the way to true connection with your life's purpose. Seventh sign, attraction to spiritual practices and self-knowledge. Without exactly knowing why, you feel an insatiable thirst to understand yourself and the universe. Meditation, spiritual books, energy healing therapies, journeys of self-discovery, everything seems to call your name. This awakening of interests is more than mere curiosity. It is the dormant memory that your soul came to Earth with a greater mission. When this calling resonates, it leads you to practices that nourish the spirit and prepare you to expand your consciousness beyond the limits of the rational mind. As these signs become increasingly evident, it is natural to feel a mix of fear and fascination. You are standing at a sacred crossroads where you can choose to remain in the comfort zone of illusion or cross the veil toward your true essence. The awareness that something greater is moving within you is, in itself, proof that the awakening has already begun. And even if your mind tries to resist, the soul's calling is stronger. It is impossible to ignore it for long. Every synchronicity you perceive, every intuition that speaks louder than reasoning, every inner silence that cries out for meaning. All of it is part of a greater plan, prepared especially for you. The universe does not make mistakes, nor does it waste signs or encounters. If you feel that these experiences resonate within your being, know this. It is because the transformation is already underway. The life you have always sensed but did not know how to reach is beginning to reveal its first outlines before your inner eyes. This is a process that does not complete itself in a single day, but each small opening is a tremendous victory for the soul. Do not rush and do not judge yourself. Awakening is as unique as the light you carry. Honor each step, even if it seems insignificant. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And the universe, patient and loving, will continue sending signs until you are ready to cross the portal and finally live the fullness that has always been destined for you. In each of these signs, the universe speaks through powerful whispers, inviting you to remember who you truly are. It is neither a coincidence nor a mistake. If you felt a resonance in your heart while listening to these words, it is because your soul is responding to the call. Spiritual awakening is not a destiny reserved for a chosen few. It is a sacred right of every being who allows themselves to hear the silent music of existence. This is the moment to trust in the subtle movements of life. Open yourself to the unknown, embrace your doubts, and allow the light of consciousness to transform your reality. You do not need to have all the answers now. You only need to take the first step with courage and faith. With each conscious breath, with each small inner awakening, you draw closer to the purpose your soul mapped out long before this life began. Remember, awakening is not an arrival, but a continuous journey of returning to your true home, the home within yourself. Let these signs be beacons along your path, illuminating the way to a life that is full, conscious, and aligned with the greater purpose the universe dreamed for you. And never forget, you already are light. You just need to allow yourself to shine.